So I just quit my job and bought an abandoned building, which is supposed to be my home in like only 4 months. Only 4 months. April of 2022. Over 2 years later, I just finished building out my dream kitchen. It is done, so it's time for a full reveal. But before we do, we're gonna go back and watch the entire transformation from the complete rotting state that I got it in to what we've got now. First thing, we got this awesome open space. We got these steel beams, brick walls. The floor at first glance looks like it was a nice solid hardwood floor, but it is really trashed. You can see all the cupping and bowing. So unfortunately, we're probably gonna have to rip out this entire floor area. And you can kind of see where the kitchen's gonna go based on where this bar is right now. We're gonna rip out all these walls so it'll just be an open kitchen. There's a bird's nest up here. Hey buddy, come on, get out, come on. Get out, come on.
Don't poop on me, don't poop, don't poop. Go that way, that way. There we go, 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 go. Woohoo, freedom!
So with the pigeons out, it was time to move on to everyone's favorite first step, demo day. Or in this case, more like demo month. I enlisted the help of my buddy Julian, and we set to work tearing down that kitchen bar thing to clear out the whole space.
In my shoes, world on my shoulders, heart full of blues out in the dirt. Down in the dirt. I've been a real bad boy on the town all night. Starting to calm down till the morning light. I'm in the dirt. Down in the dirt.
This big wall behind me, we're gonna do this one the easy way. When you do the demolition, you see a lot of progress really quick, and then things slow down. And in our case, we hit a snag: permitting. The city was super backed up with COVID. Summer turned into fall, still no permits. In order to keep moving things forward, I put on my interior design hat and started trying to think about what the kitchen layout was gonna be. Behind me, this wall separates the living area from the bedrooms in the back. And over here, we've got an exterior wall. With this space, it just makes sense to have an L-shaped kitchen running along the back wall here and the exterior wall, so it opens up into the living area, sort of makes it all flow together really well. Since I'm making the countertops myself, making the cabinets myself, I'm gonna try to keep this kitchen under 20 grand and still do it as like a top-end kitchen. We'll see how that works out. It's an ambitious goal. So that original design, there were definitely some tweaks I made to it, which we'll get to later on. But finally, in late November 2020, we got the permits. We finally got them. There were other areas of this building we had to start work on before we got to the kitchen. So by the time we actually started framing out the walls in the kitchen that are gonna go behind the kitchen cabinets, it was January of 2021. This is going to be the inlet to the sink drain. That is pretty. Look at that. Beautiful copper piping. The framing finished up in January 2021, but we had to put the kitchen on pause for a little bit so that I could build out the bedrooms in the back half of the building and move into the building because I had been living out of an Airbnb this whole time. Once I moved in, I got to work on the hardwood flooring. Now in the open kitchen living area, I made the decision to use that old wood floor as the subfloor for the new wood floor. Now that definitely saved me some time and money, but it wasn't as easy as just slapping the new floorboards down on top of the old ones. There'd been the leaky roof, there were sections of the flooring that were completely rotted out, but fortunately about 80 or 90% of the floor was usable. So that meant removing and patching all those rotted sections before we could get to laying the new floor on top of it. Anyway, enough chit chat. Let's get to that satisfying process, watching the new floors go in and completely transforming the space. Tradition, you got to do the last triangle. Nice. First try. This actually was first try this time. So I think it would be a good time to address a couple of questions that I got from all you guys when I did that first flooring video. A lot of people ask, with all the time involved in patching the floor and whatnot, if it would have been easier to just rip the old floor out and put in a new subfloor. So this was when the prices of material and wood in particular were surging because of COVID. The sheets of plywood that are used for subfloor, they had skyrocketed to almost $70 a piece. Each of those 4x8 sheets does about 32 square feet. We got 1,000 square feet. You do the math, that's like over $2,500 of plywood just to do the new subfloor. To do the patching, I think I used 4 or 5 pieces, so literally saved thousands of dollars and time by using the old wood subfloor. I had some other folks suggest that it was just generally a bad idea to use the old wood floor as a subfloor. But it is structurally sound. I did my research. There is one caveat. So if you got the floorboards running this way, these are the old ones right here, you can't run the new ones in the same direction because it can kind of lead to uneven pressure and some buckling. So what you got to do is either run them across or perpendicular to the old floorboards, then that'll be structurally sound. There's one issue though. In this room, the old floorboards were running the long length of the room. General design rule, you don't want to run floorboards parallel with the short dimension of the room. It just looks weird. So the functional solution to making the new floor structurally sound while also having a good aesthetic was diagonal flooring. You run them this way and you're still going across the wood floor, but it flows much better in a room like this. So that was the ultimate reason that we did diagonal flooring in here. I bet a bunch of you are curious about that cool tablet device you just saw me using. So I think it's a good time to chat about this video's sponsor, Remarkable, and their amazing new paper tablet device, the Remarkable 2. The Remarkable 2 is a paper tablet and it actually feels like writing with a pencil and paper. You have to try it to believe it. It is just so cool. Now there's a lot of situations where I'm trying to capture my ideas and there's nothing that has been able to replace an old school pad of paper until now. And it doesn't just replace those old school notebooks, it improves upon them with digital age, cloud-based superpowers. Everything that I do in the Remarkable is synced up to the cloud. Remarkable can also convert all your handwritten notes into text and then get that text into other applications like a word processor, for example. And maybe almost important is the features that Remarkable has are the features that it doesn't have. No web browsers, no text messages, no notifications popping up to distract you. The Remarkable 2 is technology that does exactly what you need it to and then gets out of your way so you can stay in your flow state. The next big project on the channel is the master bathroom renovation, and I'm currently in the designing phase. This time I used Remarkable 2 to sketch out layout ideas, and it was plain and simple a more efficient way to do the design, to take my notes, to sketch out room layouts on site. The Remarkable 2 fits seamlessly in my workflow because I could sync my sketches to the cloud, then hop on Remarkable's desktop app, pull the sketches up, and use them to create 3D models of the bathroom. I know the term game changer is thrown around a lot and just way overused, but if you're someone who uses a paper and pencil, pen and paper, anywhere in your workflow on a regular basis, or someone who gave up using a pencil and paper because it was just so hard to keep track of all the notebooks, those back of the napkin sketches just got lost, then the Remarkable 2 absolutely is a game changer for you. So I highly recommend checking out the Remarkable 2 via the link in the video description. Plus, when you buy from an amazing company that supports this channel and community, you are also supporting the channel. So thank you in advance for checking out the Remarkable 2, and thanks to Remarkable for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the video, and we're picking up with the installation of the drywall on the walls behind the cabinets. Finally, in November of 2021, the kitchen design was done and I was ready to start actually making the finishes, building the cabinets, doing the concrete countertops, the pretty stuff. And this is the part of renovation that I really enjoy the most. Do a little plywood moving dance and get it on the table. So we finally got all the cabinets assembled, 22 cabinets in total, no big deal. I enlisted the help of my mom and dad to carry all the cabinets upstairs from the shop. Thanks, Mom and Dad, love you guys. But then I was reading the comments in one of my videos and realized I might've gotten a bit ahead of myself. Some of you guys have pointed out that it was a bad idea to leave the drywall unpainted because you need to seal it in order to prevent odors from the kitchen, cooking, and all that junk from seeping into the drywall. I looked it up and you guys are 100% right. So we made the best of the situation, danced around the cabinets, and got that wall painted before the install. So next up, it just keeps getting better, at least for me. I got to do one of my favorite things, play with concrete, make those beautiful concrete countertops and the butcher block countertop section that's gonna go in the island. Today is an exciting day. I actually hired some professional countertop installers to transport the countertops from Fishstone Studios over to the building because, well, I figured I was saving a lot of money there, so it was worth spending a little money just to ensure that they got here safely.
Hold on.
Careful.
Good.
We're getting really close to the finish line, but there was one more really cool feature to build, the butcher block countertop. The butcher block is made from hard maple. It's gonna sit at the far end of the island next to the cooktop. Before we get to the big reveal tour, let's break down the costs and see how I did on my $20,000 goal. The biggest cost for me was appliances, and those came to $9,600 for the fridge, cooktop, oven, microwave, and dishwasher. For the cabinets, this is where I probably saved a ton of money. Cabinets for a custom kitchen like this could run anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 depending on where you live. For me, I paid for the plywood, $4,500. The doors were provided by REHAU. A lot of the hardware was provided by ROCKLER. And then I just bought the hardware for the pantries, came to $2,500, which means my cost for the cabinets was $7,000. For the flooring, we got about 270 square feet in here. At $6 a square foot, that's $1,620. Other costs, the sink and faucet were $500, garbage disposal $300, lighting came to about $400. The countertops are another area where I saved a ton of money. I made them myself with the help of Tom out at Fishstone, and Fishstone provided materials, so $0 for those. And that brings the total to the materials for the whole thing at $20,220, which is right around that $20,000 goal, so pretty happy about that. I will add that plumbing and electrical will be a cost if you wanted to do something like this yourself. It's going to vary hugely depending on the kitchen that you're remodeling, if you have to move stuff around, that sort of thing. For me, the plumbing was about $5,000 and the electrical $3,000. These are totally back of the napkin sketches because those numbers were kind of baked into the overall number that I paid for plumbing and electrical in the whole building. So that would bring my cost for the whole kitchen here to about $28,000. I have a number of friends who are contractors, interior designers. Pretty unanimously, they said if you were to contract out the work for a kitchen like this, it would easily be a six-figure kitchen. So I worked on this on and off for 2 years, and once I kicked into high gear, it was about 4 months of really hard work, but I made about $70,000 of equity, at least in theory. So I'm pretty happy about that. Let's do the tour, all the bells and whistles. I'm excited to show you guys. First up, this is a little detail. We have this little reveal here in the concrete. And what I did is cut a little frosted black acrylic strip to inlay. I just love the way that this acrylic pops off and actually matches the induction cooktop that we've got built into the island. So as for the concrete top itself, I've been living with it now for 2 months, cooked on it, eaten on it, done everything on it. It's holding up great, looks great. And then moving down this way, we got the butcher block section. Like you guys have seen that in the last video, but the combination of the warmth of the wood diagonally running with the flooring combined with the concrete, I just love the combo. So moving around here, you gotta have outlets. Like I do a lot of editing, sit on the computer while I'm drinking coffee, whatever. Got outlets here, black of course to match the cabinets, and then got another outlet under here. So there's always an outlet nearby when you're at the island. There was originally gonna be the 4 cabinets. I kicked out 2 of them so that there was this bar here, and that was the best decision ever. Very happy that we made that last minute change. So moving over to the pantries, showed these before, but you know, functionally, I just love these pantries. And the great thing about these, and they're on each side of the fridge, is that effectively they convert the depth of the cabinet into width. You use the cabinet this way, so this is like the back of the cabinet. Nothing gets lost in the back. You can fully use the whole space of the pantry. And while we're here, I want to talk about the cabinets themselves. So as you guys know, I went up to REHAU's facility. We filmed a whole video showing how they made the cabinet doors up there. This material is awesome. It really doesn't smudge and show fingerprints, and it's super durable. What they call their Renovation Noir, basically matte black. It's like exactly what was in my head when I thought about matte black cabinets. Always the most gratifying thing when like what you picture in your head actually comes to life. Also, talk about the hardware. Obviously there's the pantry hardware. We use the Bloom soft close drawers everywhere, soft close cabinet doors. And all the hardware in the kitchen was provided by channel sponsor ROCKLER Woodworking. So I'll throw a link below, and thanks to them for hooking it up. Oh, and speaking of hardware, you got the soft close, pull out double trash bin. You gotta have your trash hidden, love that. One of the questions I got, because the model didn't really have a microwave, is where's it gonna go? Went underneath here. Built-in microwave, splurged a little bit. It's a convection oven too. So that means we actually have 3 ovens in the kitchen because we have a double wall oven over here. You guys left some comments just telling me over and over how much I should get a double wall oven. So hey, You guys ask, I deliver. Went with the double wall of it. So over here on this countertop nook, I added some LED strips underneath here that really makes this brick pop. I want to come back to that later when I talk about future plans because I have an idea for that, but let's move on. So in this awkward corner, I left this part to the last to design because honestly, I couldn't decide what to do with it. So what I came up with was the top is just actually regular cabinet, which is actually not that bad to access. Below is the sort of magical one. I bought these special pull-up door hinge, and then I built in a slide out tray that has all my coffee stuff. So I can make my coffee stuff or use my toaster. And when I'm done, it just hides away instead of cluttering up the countertop, which I love. So another thing, and this is actually new, hadn't showed you guys. I do have some footage of this, but I just needed to get the reveal video out and didn't have time to edit it. The backsplash. So we had this wall behind the countertops where all the plumbing and electrical was gonna be hidden because obviously you couldn't put it in the brick. I had them make that wall a little bit higher than the countertop heights because I figured it would be good to have some outlets. We got 4 outlets along this backsplash. I used the same tile that I used in the bathroom, so it was effectively free. I like the way that the white transitions between the concrete and the brick. I'll maybe put a video on this, but there was like a struggle to pick the material. I went through a lot of options that I thought might work and just looked really weird against the brick. Anyway, moving on to the sink. Okay, check this out. We got the touchless sensor, so the sink just comes on. It's the cool restaurant style sink. I'm a big fan personally of having one big sink. I hate those ones with dividers because I feel like there's stuff that's like too big to fit in either one. For the cooktop, I went with an induction cooktop, and a lot of people had some questions because I think a lot of people still have the stigma that this is similar to electric, and electric sucks. This induction, I've had it now for a couple months, been using it, absolutely love it because it's the best of both worlds. You have very fine control over the temperature. You just turn it on. There's a little touch slider. I kid you not, you can boil water in like a minute. The old saying, a watch pot never boils, like, no, you literally watch it and next thing you know, it's boiling. It's kind of crazy. Oh, and the last thing that you guys might have noticed, one of my favorite things, and I've got a video coming out for the whole process of making this, is a light. It's a very simple DIY light. I managed to hide the wires so you don't see them at all. I'm gonna have a video coming out for it soon in the whole process, but let me just hop up and show you. Ugh.
Anybody have a joke about socks?
Say, look, Ma, no wires. Ugh. So overall, I am very happy, but I do want to show nothing is ever perfect. There are some things I would have done differently. The biggest lesson that I learned is order of operations. You're supposed to install the appliances the very last thing. But we were dealing with appliance shortages. Some things were out for 6 months. So when something came in stock, I bought it. Also, if you recall from my past videos, I messed up some of the dimensions of the doors, had to have those remade. Long story short, I ended up installing the appliances before I had all the cabinet door fronts on. Well, I paid for that. There's a reason that you do that order operations. It's because installation involves tools, things get banged up. And despite my best efforts, I managed to drop a drill while I was installing these cabinets, and now I have a dent in my brand new fridge. But hey, it could be a learning experience because I got one of those dent removal kits like they use on cars, supposedly to work on fridges. We're gonna try that out. I don't know, maybe I'll make a YouTube short about that. What do you guys think? Would you watch a short on dent removal from fridge? Let me know what you think. So moving over here, you can't really see it from the front. It's not that noticeable, but there's still drywall that's exposed in this last little section here. I want to do something to cover that. If you could picture, basically got old bricks from the building, putting some bricks, kind of stacking them up around this edge to kind of make it look like a rounded shape of bricks back here, almost like a wrecking ball hit into the wall. And we built the kitchen right into the brick wall itself. It could either be genius or terrible, but I'm gonna just bring some bricks up here, set them on there, play around with it, and find out. One thing you guys may have noticed that you haven't seen is the vent over the cooktop. I didn't want to do a big vent hood, you know, sticking down, kind of obstructing the open feel of the island. So what we're gonna do is actually put drywall in from this beam back to there and then install a flush mount hood, which is gonna be kind of disappear into the ceiling. It's a new thing. Apparently it's been popular in Europe for a while, but I think that's gonna be the best solution. And of course, we're gonna leave the timber exposed in the ceiling in the rest of the room because I wanna keep that industrial loft look. I'm super stoked how this came out. It is definitely my dream kitchen. So if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you sub and bell because you also wanna see what we do with the rest of the building. I'm about to do a full master bathroom renovation. It's gonna be a ton of fun. That's it for this time, and I'll see you guys next time.